Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coffee Chat with
Hey,
Jeanie
Cindy.
and Cindy. Glad to see you and happy to see you, Jeanie. My goodness, you look very, very good. You've been through an ordeal,
I have.
haven't
Yeah,
you?
I had emergency extensive surgery about 4 or 5 months ago. And you know, this all comes in with everything that we've been talking about. Joe and I are renovating our old winery and we're living in it, but we have like another whole area of 1,000 square feet. But some things have happened along the way. And, when we go through physical things or we go through emotional things or we go through financial things or whatever, many times it just looks like everything is falling apart, right? And in reality, it's like creating a new foundation. It's like renovating and redoing. And I was thinking about, in fact, our workers are here today. And, before you start any kind of process, let's just say it's renovating a house, because that's what we're doing. You have to have an idea. You have to have an idea of what you want. I mean, what do we want? What rooms do we need? And how are we going to use this space? And so you have to make a list. You have to look at everything, call in some experts who can help you. I mean, my Molly, who is my designer, she has worked with me and like setting things up beautifully. And she said, I just love it that you don't change your mind. Once we decide on something, you don't go down another rabbit hole. And I said, well, Molly, I just want to be real honest with you. I don't always know what I want, but I know what I don't want. And that's a great place to start. Okay. So in moving here, and I lived in Dallas all my life. And then when I moved to the Texas Hill Country, and we lived in our ranch, and it was very Texas Hill Country, it was lovely. And then another house that was lovely, but Texas Hill Country. But this is ours now. And we built this winery. And I just said, I'm over the Texas Hill Country. Look, nothing wrong with it. I'm just over it. And so I was smart enough. I went on house.com and said, what's my house style? It came out French country. So that was the starting point. Okay, here are the colors, and here's the this, and here's the that, and all of that. So, when we go through something, we have to start out, and it's very much like a 12-step program. And the very first step is that you surrender and you say, I know my life is a wreck, and I can't do anything about it. And I don't want to live like this. And so that's that. I know what I don't want. I don't really know what's possible, but I know what I don't want. And that is a great starting point. So when I had this emergency extensive surgery, and my doctor and everyone was like, he said after the surgery, I didn't even know I was going to have surgery. I didn't. And so thanks God I didn't have any time to worry about it. But afterwards, he said, you were such a mess in there. And I don't have cancer. It was just other stuff. It was infection. And he said, I almost just sewed you back up again. I went, oh my God, thank you for not doing that. But nobody could believe how quickly I got well. And part of it is the glutathione that you and I are both on, which you've put up a link on our website that's called the
Yes,
Fountain of Youth.
yes.
And so if
Sure, you
anyone's
go
in
to our website and
our
check.
website, look
Yeah.
at the Fountain of Youth. But anyhow, the point being, and he said, people with one abscess die. And I said, I didn't know that, but I'm not dying, just so you know. So, but what it did is it just stopped me in my tracks. I was in the hospital for 11 days and I'm fine. Okay. I have to have a little more surgery and it's going to be fine. I'm not worried about it. But Cindy, all of a sudden, everything just came to a stop. I was under house arrest. I couldn't get out and drive. I wasn't allowed to lift anything. I wasn't allowed to do anything. And, it was just like, I'm like the go-go bunny energizer. And all of a sudden, I'm just sitting. And so what did I do? I started studying Dr. Joe Dispenza again and read his book again online, Becoming Supernatural, and going and choosing to go from the known past, I know what the past is, and the predictable future, and this is how it's probably going to be. And he says, you have to let both of those go and go in the middle to the unknown. And that's where the power is. That's where the power is. And so, I see this, and I've just been so still. I meditate, I pray, I play music, I get into my joy. And because of this, I have opened myself up. I've always been like, no, I can take care of everything. And people are coming out of the woodwork saying, let me help you. And all of a sudden, I'm saying, absolutely, I need help. I need help, which is a brand new thing.
That is a brand new thing with you.
It is.
You don't like to ask for help. However,
up until now,
my dad suffers from the same thing. And I finally told him, you are not allowing someone to have the joy of giving when you don't accept help, or if you don't accept when somebody wants to do something for you, let them do it. I do that all the time with anybody. Anybody. My dad is almost 95 years old. And when he says, would you like me to pour you a cup of coffee? Of course I can do it myself, right? Sure, Dad. Because he feels the value of the offering, of the giving. And then he also receives the appreciation. So when you give, you allow appreciation, and appreciation is the highest vibration in the universe. I used to think it was love until I heard that the other day, and I said, that is where all the power is in appreciation. We've talked about this in our coffee chats before, that when we are thankful before the miracle, that's when the miracle is definitely going to come into your life.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And we know how good we feel helping people.
Right.
I'm going to block it. No, I can do it. I can do it, and all of that has come tumbling down. It has, I am a new person because of this, demolition that happened. Right. And now it's being restored and it's being renovated. And so, I meet with our builders all the time, and, I don't pretend to know everything. We have blueprints and stuff, but things have kind of shifted. You have to be light on your feet. And, some things have happened and there's been some delays, and I'm just like, it's fine, but let's make sure that this is done and that's done, but I always say, I appreciate you so much. Y'all are doing such great work. And everyone wants to be appreciated, just as we were talking about. So if somebody is going through a hard time, whatever it is, and it looks like, everything is just falling apart. For example, the 1,000 square feet that I'm now calling the East Wing, which has your bedroom when you come and visit, it will be done soon, and the bathroom, but 2 offices, my pantry, a library, the utility room, and also a storage thing for, like, Christmas decorations and stuff like that. But we had to move out 100 cases of wine into a storage unit. Well, here in Texas, it's hot as the hinges of hell during the summertime. And in this little town, there are no climate controlled things. So we just kind of put it in there and like hope for the best. But we've been giving away wine for years, because when we close the wine room, we don't sell it, we just give it away. Well, it all turned to vinegar. And I was like, now what? I don't want to just throw it away. But I had this idea that a friend of mine in Dallas, who has this company and they make jellies and jams and pickled vegetables and stuff, she just signed an agreement with 47 Whole Foods stores and Walmart. And I reached out to her and I said, Donna, would you like to get this wine and make red wine vinegar for your company? I'll give it to you. And she was like, Yeah. So isn't that a blessing? You know, we just have to be willing to let it go, to surrender, and everyone wins here. And so the whole thing is, for me, it's like demolition and it's restoration. And we have to be willing to do things differently. So if I was only focused on, I don't want hill country look, guess what I would end up with? Hill country look, because that would be in my mind. And now, I mean, my home is so beautiful and it's just so comfortable, and it's the colors are softer, and in fact, they had to redo the floor back there in that east wing in the production room because we had 5 big, well, they weren't big, but a couple of inches drains for all the water and the wine when we were making wine, the big things from Italy. And so they had to even out the floor. So they poured this stuff, and I have these beautiful floors where you can see it behind me, that these floors are cement, but the color is actually poured into the floor. It's not painted, it's not stained. Right. So when they put this stuff over it, it's kind of got like a silicone in it, and it turned it all real gray, almost a white gray. And so my builder said, well, what we can do is we can stain it or we can paint it. And I looked at it and I went, can you just like polish that up and seal it? So, and he went, well, yeah. And I said, so what we're doing now is we have completely changed that color palette back there. And I have found the most beautiful hanging lamps and the most beautiful, all kinds of stuff. But it is like a breath of fresh air. If I had just insisted, and I knew I didn't want to paint it, I knew I didn't want to have to mess with staining it every year or whatever. And so now everything has changed. And I see this parallel in my body too. I mean, I've lost all this weight. I would not recommend this diet to anybody, really. But I feel good. And, I'm doing things differently. My new favorite word is no, and not in an ugly way. I always would just say yes, even if I didn't want to say yes. And I don't say it anymore. I just say, nope, thank you, and that's it. I mean, my husband's like, what'd you do with my wife? But, he loves it now because I am much more coherent with my own self. Mm-hmm. I am in touch with my own self, which has allowed me to lavish my love and appreciation on him in a new way. So, what I would just like to tell people who are listening to this, you may be going through a really hard time and you may be totally unaware of how it's going to happen. Don't get into the blame game. What did I do to cause this? Nothing. Okay. This is just something that you have an opportunity to change. That's it. And I've got to tell you, and I've heard people who have gone through like cancer before, and they said, and survived and said, this was my biggest gift. And I never understood that. And I don't have cancer, but I have this other stuff and it's healing. But, Cindy, I wouldn't take for this opportunity to change for $1 million. I'm happier now than I have ever been.
Well, and we're happy that you're with us and you have this incredible story to share. Jeanie, I love you big. I love our coffee chats.
I do too. I love it. And I love all of the people who tune in to us. Let us hear from you. We'd love to hear if these stories touch you or inspire you or bring up questions. We're here. We would love to have that.
We are.
Thank you. Bye-bye.